Here's the problem I'm having. I've been looking back at all my fursuits that I made last year, and I mean, they're alright, but I'm looking at all these other fursuits online, and I want that. Why can't I have that? It's so good. Oh, it's not fair, man. So, you know, I'm really thinking I need to step up my game, alright? So today, I am going to make my most complicated fursuit to date. A full digigrade suit with obnoxiously bright colours, patterns all over it, and a species that I've never done before, or even anything similar. I am extra determined, extra ready, and I'm gonna make a masterpiece. This is the design I've come up with. Boom! Look at that. Barney the purple dinosaur. I love him and he loves me, alright? It is the perfect design. Because dinosaurs are just bloody cool. Okay. Calm down. The high octane intro is out of the way now. So let's calm down, let's cool down, and get down to business. Today on the agenda is the head. Arguably the most important part. And we can focus all of our energy on just that today. Because the body will be split up into 2 more videos, a part 2 and a part 3. Just like last time, where I made my very first full suit. In any case, let's get into it. So, as usual, we're starting off with the bucket head base. And, look at this. You see this? 1 centimeter thickness, as it should be, alright? If you watched my last video, you know that I messed it up last time, and I bought the wrong foam. I bought 1 inch instead of 1 centimeter. But you will be pleased to hear that I didn't make the same mistake again. So making the bucket head base this time around went all smoothly and perfect. There we go. Now we gotta start shaping this into this. So yeah, now here's the thing. I've never done a dinosaur before, or anything even close to a goddamn dinosaur. Like, I've done a cat and a dog, and that's about it. And anyway, a cat fursuit is basically the same thing as a dog fursuit, it just has a smaller muzzle. So yeah, I've not exactly got a breadth of experience in that department. And another problem with doing a dinosaur fursuit is that when you type into Google dinosaur fursuit tutorial or something like that, it just comes up with these dino mask things, and this is not what I'm looking for, alright? This is not what I meant, and that's pretty much all it comes up with. So looks like I'm on my own for this one. I always start off with the snout, so I made this sort of like pattern thing with a bit of paper, and I was basically just trying to use this to get a good idea of what I wanted the side profile to look like. Because I thought, you know, if I got the side profile down, everything else would kind of fall into place. So then I used my bit of paper to cut out some foam, carve it down, glue it on, and now we have this big massive schnoz going on. The next couple bits weren't too difficult. It was just a lower jaw, some cheeks and eyebrows. These parts I did literally the exact same as my cat and dog suits, so there's no real change there. Then I added this big block on top of the snout to kind of give it more of a dinosaur shaped muzzle, I guess. Is it a muzzle? I suppose it is. Anyway, and then I also added a sick mohawk. Look at that. Then after that I did like a bunch of really tiny, small, intricate details Like, you know, little bits added here and there, little bits cut off, removed, carved. Basically, what I'm trying to say is way too much to talk about in this video. So, for the sake of the video, we'll just skip over that. And here's what the base looks like once I was happy with it. It looks pretty good, but I've managed to make Monty from Five Nights at Freddy's, apparently. That resemblance was not intentional, but now that I've, like, seen it, I can't unsee it. Anyway, the next step would usually be to make the eyes, but I'm doing something a bit special for the eyes this time, so we'll leave that surprise for later. Instead, I started making a pattern for the fur. I thought it was going to be more complicated than some of my previous suits, because obviously the shape is a lot different, but it actually wasn't so bad. The shape actually turned out to be relatively easy to get right, and the markings were nowhere near as complicated as the J-Feather Warrior Cat fursuit head that I did before. And once I had the pattern all translated over onto the fur, it's time to shave all the fur down. Because obviously, a dinosaur isn't fluffy, is it? It's like scaly. So we've got to shave the fur down real short. I did actually try and do a bit of a different strategy for the shaving this time. I tried going kind of like diagonally because I saw a YouTube video that did that. But it just kind of made a bunch of track marks in the fur, and it didn't really make it any smoother or shorter at all. Like, I don't know if you can see it on camera, but there's definitely some track marks in there, like some little lines that go across the fur. So, yeah, I'm not doing that again. Luckily, I was able to shave most of the track marks out, and for the ones that didn't shave out, I used some scissors to kind of trim them a bit flatter, and a bit of spoilers here, but it won't show up on the final product, so we're all good. Next, I cut out all my fur pieces, and just like the last video, I hand sewed the entire thing without leaving any seam allowance or using the machine. It does take a while to do it like this, but I found that doing it like this gets rid of all the little wrinkles and crinkles that you sometimes get when you put the fur onto the head. So yeah, I think the extra time spent hand sewing is definitely worth it for the results you get. And now, before we put the fur onto the base, we actually need to do the lining first. The lining is basically the same sort of process, but just on the inside of the head this time. It's a bit more awkward getting the tape to go in the head, as you can probably imagine. And it is also way more annoying to sew, because this stuff sucks. Alright, this material, this spandexy stuff, it stretches, it flops around, it's slippery, it's just fiddly as anything, alright? The fur is 1,000 times easier to work with. But I got through it in the end, sewed it all, nice and sorted, and now we can start putting everything together. So first, I glued the lining to the inside of the head. No issues there. Then I started gluing the fur onto the outside, and it was going fine until I realized, like, man, my glue gun is really struggling right now. It's really struggling to get any glue out. I pulled the trigger a bit harder, tried to like shake it out a little bit. Nothing's really working, so I'm like, you know, I don't really know what's going on. Like, is it blocked or something? Then I realized, hang on. This hot glue gun is not hot. So I plugged it into a different socket. Still nothing. You know, I banged on it a bit. Still unresponsive. I tried CPR, mouth to mouth, defibrillator, and I think, guys, I don't think he's coming back. I think, oh God, I think it's time to say goodbye. He was a good man. He was a good man. He got me through so many tough times, so many fursuits. True soldier. Everyone, please pay your respects in the comments. I'll go first. I'll go first. I remember when we first met. I was in the arts and crafts section of the store. They were almost out of stock for glue guns. They were almost out of stock. But there was one left. There was one. It was a £7 pink piece of garbage. But god damn it, it was all I had. You're all I had. Right. What were we doing again? Oh, right, yeah, we're gluing the fur. I remember now. So, I went out and I got a replacement for my glue gun. This time it wasn't a £7 cheap pink piece of garbage. It was 25 quid this time, so we've proper upgraded now. And you can tell it's an upgrade, because look how massive this glue stick is that it came with. Like, this is colossal compared to my normal ones. Like, what the hell, man? Anyway, I glued on the rest of the fur as normal. Then, I made the neck fur. And for the neck, I used the same method that I've always used. I like to follow this tutorial, which shows you how to make a fursuit neck if you don't have a mannequin head. It's quite simple, quite easy. You just basically make a big massive tube, then cut and sew some little triangles into the bottom, and that's it. That's literally it. It's great, honestly. Check out that video if you want to make a fursuit and you don't have a mannequin head. It's perfect, basically. But yeah, anyway, this is where we're at right now. We've almost got it completed, but looks kind of creepy with no eyes. So let's get that sorted now. Do you remember earlier when I said we're doing something a bit different with the eyes? Yeah, well, I decided I think we're going to go for 2D eyes with this head instead of the 3D follow me eyes. I just wanted to like try it out, you know what I mean? So I measured out the eye holes and how big the eye mesh needs to be. And then I ordered it again from Carniv Creations, just like in the last video. And if you watch that video, and if you remember back, I accidentally got the wrong size eyes. And I had to order it again. That was my fault, right? I just ordered the wrong size. Well, if you take a look here, we're having a bit of deja vu going on. These are 6.5 centimeter eyes. And I need 7.5 centimeter. But this time, it's not my fault, alright? This time, it's not my fault. I promise it's not. I definitely ordered 7.5. So, I sent them an email. You know, like, hang on. What's going on here? Turns out, they thought I meant 7.5 centimeters vertical and not horizontal. Which I meant horizontal. So, alright. It's just a bit of a misunderstanding. They said they'd make the listing more clear for next time. And they also asked me to send them a quid. Because, like, for 9 centimeters or more in any direction, I guess, there's like a fee or something. It doesn't matter, right? It's a quid, let's be real. So, in the end, I just sent them a £5, you know, get it over with. And I ended up with a cheap replacement. So, we're all good now. And I wanted to show this little interaction. Because last video, some people in the comments told me I sounded rude when I was talking about them last time. So I watched that video back and yeah, they were totally right. I did sound like a bit of a knob. So I'm sorry about that. Didn't mean to, alright. They actually do have a very nice store and, you know, good customer service like you've just seen. The website is carniv.store. But anyway, right, I've got the new eyes now. And we can finally start sticking them in. As I said earlier, we're going to do 2D eyes this time. So I made up the 2 eyes like this, nice and simple, right? But then I also wanted to add some angry eyelids because, you know, it's a dinosaur. It's supposed to be fierce and vicious, you know what I mean? So I went for magnetic eyelids again, just like last time. And I stuck some magnets to the back of the eyes, as well as the back of the fabric for the eyelids. And that was simple, right? Angry eyes, easy, dunzo. But we do need to somehow figure out a way to stick these eyes into the head. And like, have them not fall out on us. So I googled and I found this tutorial from Freckled Cat Creations, and they just seem to glue it straight in just like that. So I mean, I guess that's how you're supposed to do it, but you know, I was a bit unsure about that one. Didn't really like that idea. Seems kind of flimsy, you know what I mean? So I thought, hang on. What if, right? If the follow me eyes get glued in very securely because they've got this, you know, this rim around the edge that you put loads of glue on. What if we just put a rim on the inside, like on the back of it? And obviously the rim would go on the mesh, which kind of like gets in the way of your vision a little bit. So instead, I just put these kind of little bits sticking out, because obviously you can't see it from the outside anyway. It doesn't matter what it looks like. But this way, it won't get in the way of the mesh, and it won't get in the way of your vision. Genius! Alright, look at this. Absolute, pure, unfiltered genius. Or at least, I would say that. But as I was writing the script for this video, I found this video, and yeah, I guess it's not that genius because this guy already beat me to it like years ago. Whatever, alright, it doesn't matter who came up with it first. The eyes fit and they're nice and secure, and that's all that matters in the end. Anyway, after that, I added some black, like eyelashes, I guess. I mean, I don't know what else to call them, so I suppose they are eyelashes. I put some eyelashes around the eyes. And the final thing, the last thing we need to do is the teeth. Which were super simple, luckily. You know, I just sewed some little yellow spikes and then just sewed them into the mouth of the suit. It was like as simple as it gets. But it does look pretty good, huh? Probably needs to brush his teeth a bit more often though, because they're all yellow. Like, yeah, you're going to need some Oral-B on that one, mate. But with that, the head is finished. And now I can finally show you the finished product. But just before I show you, I want to show you this book. Alright, it looks cool, doesn't it? It's all leather and it's got a metal clasp and everything. Anyway, this is my special book for Dusk Clan members. Dusk Clan being my new Patreon that I just opened. This book, this is where I'm going to write down all the names of all the new Patreons at the end of every video. Because I do already have a Ko-fi like tip jar for like one-off type of things. But I never really did anything with it. It's just kind of there. But with this new Patreon, I'm actually taking it seriously this time. And anyone who joins gets to be a member of Dusk Clan. They get their name at the end of a video getting written in the book. They also get work in progress pictures of suits before the video comes out. Extras, sneak peeks, you know, a bunch of stuff like that. Alright, basically anything I feel like posting. It's mostly for those of you who want to support the channel in a bigger way and, you know, like keep it going. Because listen, alright, these fursuit supplies ain't cheap, you know. And for the amount of work I actually put into this channel, the YouTube ad revenue pays me less than minimum wage. So if you're interested, you can see the full details on Patreon, link in the description. But, you know, to start the book off, I'll write in my Ko-fi supporters, which I only have 2 left now. But even still, Rich and Suke or Suk or something like that. Thank you very much for being the only 2 who actually, you know, stuck around. And now, for real this time, I can finally show you the big reveal. Drumroll please. Ta-da! This is the final product. It's looking good, huh? I actually do quite like how this one turned out. I do think the eyes are a big step up on this one. You know, the 2D eyes. I do like them. but I still don't feel like I've got it down just yet. You know, the eyes definitely still need more work. They're still definitely not perfect yet. You know, some more improvement is required in that department. But I do think the eyes are better than the last one. And I think in general, the whole thing is better than the last one. So at least that's a success. But whatever. Who cares if it's a success, alright? We got bigger fish to fry. Like making the entire rest of the body. Which is what next video is going to be about. So look out for that coming soon. Subscribe so that you don't miss it. You'll get notified when it comes out. And while you're waiting, you might as well go watch my older videos where I made my very first full suit.